Hip mobility is one of the most neglected areas of fitness, especially in Western cultures where we sit a lot and we really just don't do a lot to nurture and take care of our hips. What's up, everybody? This is Chase with Energy to Conquer, and today is day 71 on my experimental journey to increasing my energy, my mental clarity, and my overall focus. Guys, look, this is my kickoff for week number 11. It's hard to believe it, like this thing is really just kind of coming to an end here. I've only got 4 weeks left, but this is week 11, and this week's going to be focused on hip mobility and just kind of working on increasing my mobility of my hips. And basically, there's a program I've been looking at for a while, and I'm going to just start doing that. It's like 10 minutes a day, and I'm going to start. It's specifically designed for mobility in your hips, and I'm going to start using that or doing that daily this week, and I'm probably going to continue it throughout at least the next 2 or 3 weeks and see what kind of results that I get from that, because I do have some hip, I don't really have hip problems, but I'm tight in one of my hips. What happened was I started running. I run a while back, but I started running twice a day. It's been about 3 years ago, and I wasn't doing any stretching. It's not a good move. So I started running twice a day, 45 minutes a day, and I did that for a while, but I ended up getting so tight, and I had a bunch of back problems. I didn't realize at the time, but it was all connected. Like, I don't know, my glutes, I don't know if it's some kind of hip impingement, I don't know what it was. But later, when I did try to do some yoga and stuff that I had done before, so I knew where my flexibility was. Like, when I did these things, I knew what I could do before, and it was completely night and day on one hip. Like, I couldn't, it's just crazy. Like, I could barely even open up my hip on one side. The other side was fine where it was, but the one, it just kind of drawed up. It like drawed up and got real tight, and I don't know, it was weird, but it still gives me problems even when I try to sit cross-legged and do different things. So it's something that concerns me, and it's something that's concerned me for a while. And so it kind of really caused me to focus on hip mobility, and it's something I hadn't really focused a lot on. And now for probably the last year or so, I've done a lot of yoga focused on hip and different stretching focused on my hip. Just try to open them up, just doing some different squats, and just really just spend time stretching out my hips. And be honest with you, I mean, I've made a lot of progress, but I'm not happy with the progress that I've made or how the amount of time it's taking to make it, and it kind of concerns me. So I am using this. I'm going to invest in this program, and I'm going to start doing this program for the next, I guess, probably at least 3 weeks to see what kind of results I get, because I know what I've been doing, which is just, it's not been really targeted. It's just been doing yoga and other things, but it had a focus on hip mobility. And so this week I'm focused on that, and it's 10 minutes a day. So it's going to be 10 minutes a day for the next at least 3 weeks every day. And so the other part of that is just adding movement into my day, which was the beginning. When I started this way back on day 1, like, that was the goal, was just to get movement and get my overall activity level up to like at least two, but closer to 3 hours a day. And that's not through just one continual exercise, but doing just little things throughout the day. So I'm going to start adding things in this last stretch, these last 4 weeks. So I can add in 10 minutes here. Like, I'm already doing 2 45-minute workouts in the mornings and the evenings. Plus, I come out and I walk in the middle of the day, just whenever I need a break, need to get some fresh air, get some sunshine, whatever. I'll go walk around a little bit. I work from home, so I do have that luxury. But I'm going to specifically start doing some different things throughout the rest of this. And your hip mobility is so important, because your whole life is really, I mean, your quality of life is dependent on your hips. And probably, your hips, because it affects your alignment in your back, it affects your alignment in your knees, and I mean, just everything is dependent on your hips and the alignment. And what happens is, when we sit, our hips get it's kind of your hip, the hip flexors, they're just kind of drawn up when we sit, right? They're not really stretched out when we stand up. So what happens, we sit so much in Western culture that these things kind of just draw up, and if we don't intentionally stretch them out, what happens is they kind of get stuck there, right? And they don't really stretch out when you stand up. So you start having problems. You know, you bend over or you get a stiff back. You start having back problems, which I do have, or just tweaks, I guess, here and there. It ain't really problems. But, you know, I'm trying to get to the bottom of that as well, because I know it's all connected, between my glutes, my hips, my hamstrings, like all this stuff. And so, but I'm starting with my hips, and I'm really going to put a focus on that, which I should have done a long time ago, but I've not. And so I'm incorporating that movement into my day, just to kind of keep doing something and being active throughout the day, even though I'm sitting at a computer a lot of the day. So your hips are vital. Like a lot of times, elderly folks, you know, they'll fall, they'll bust their hip, and usually it's downhill from there. But a lot of your balance, you know, a lot of times elderly, they'll fall. A lot of that balance is because they're not very mobile in their hips. They can't catch themselves. You know, you lose that agility. But the thing is, people, it's not uncommon to see people in their 40s, especially 50s and 60s, that's got the mobility of some people in their 70s and 80s, right? And to be honest with you, those people that have those severe mobility issues in their 50s are probably not going to live to see 70 and 80. Like, they're hobbling around with hip issues or back issues from hip issues. Like, it's just downhill, right? Because you lose that mobility, and you can't, it's hard to maintain your health physically when you don't have mobility. And that's why it's so important to take care of these hip flexors and make sure that you're staying mobile in your hips, which is going to help you with your alignment, right, of your spine, which is going to keep back problems. Your knees, which if your knees go out, it's probably going to throw off your hips, and it's just a downhill, right? So we got to take care of these. We got to be smart enough to take care of these things if we want to have a long-term quality of life and have energy throughout our life. Because if you can't get out and do things physically, it's going to have a very negative effect on your energy levels, right? So you've got to stimulate, you know, your blood flow, your oxygen, your muscles, all this thing. If not, atrophy is going to take place, you know. And if you've got a bad elbow, that's one thing. Like, you can complete atrophy in your arm, and your arm shrivel up to nothing. But when your leg or your hip or your back, when you start having atrophy in those areas, it's kind of a death sentence, right? So that's what this week's about. You know, like I said, I've got back problems. There's a couple other programs that I'm looking at, and I have been looking at for a long time, and I've kind of planned on doing those throughout this. And so this coming to the end, I'm going to close it up with these. But the back problems is, so I'm going to see what the hips are going to do before I dive into one specifically for the back. I'm going to do hips, and then I've got probably the next week I'm going to do some core strength. It's going to be daily core strength, so it's going to add into that time each day, which is about 10 minutes. I think 10 to 15 minutes on those. But it's really more mobility core strength, not really just doing sit-ups and those kind of things. There's a lot of mobility involved, which helps strengthen your back and strengthen your front core. And so that, and then I'm going to probably week 3 from now, so I guess almost to last week, I'm going to focus on just back. It's more of recovery exercises, so just light exercises. And I might throw in some HIIT, just doing random, maybe 3 or 4 HIIT sessions throughout the day. I might do that the last week, so I might mix it up in the middle and go away from it and see how big of an impact it has, and I may do that. So I haven't 100% laid that out yet, but that's kind of the plan, just kind of fill you in. So this is my kickoff for week number 11, and it's just going to be adding in those daily hip exercises just to work on opening up those hips just a little bit each day. And so I'm going, like I said, this is a program I'm buying. It's super cheap, but I want to do it, and then I'm going to make a video, and I'll add this in here whenever I get it. So if you want to go check it out, but you know, it's just basically, is it going to work or is it not? Because I'm going to test it, right? And I'm going to find out, and if it works, I'll continue to do it. If it don't, then you guys are going to be the first to know. So that's kind of what I got going on this week. This is the kickoff for that. It's hip mobility, and just making sure that, you know, you don't lose mobility in your hips. You can't neglect that. We got to be smarter than that. As much as we sit in our culture, it's a death sentence, and it's going to limit your life. It's going to limit the quality of your life. Like, there's nothing good going to come out of this, and we've got to get smart enough, and we got to especially teach our kids that we've got to you know, this is something that's essential to our quality of life and our health and just our overall well-being. And I haven't got into diet, and I may do it after this challenge because I've got, you know, I'm running out of time. It's hard to believe it's just kind of crap up on me, but I'm still working out some details. It's going to be some food combining diet, so that may be something in the future. I'll probably do about 60 days or 90 days on that and just do strict. But I'm trying to work out a lot of details between glycemic index. I'm including a lot of stuff in that, not just food combining, but also maybe getting some macros into the food combining. And I'm going through some different things, a mucusless diet and different things, kind of some more raw diets. And it's not going to be a raw diet just because I know it's unrealistic for most people. But, you know, as you've known before, you know, you've got to have raw fruits and vegetables in your diet, and that's your filler food. So that stuff is coming up as well. Just kind of fill you guys in on that. Like, I was wanting to get into that during this, but I think it's just going to be too much right now. So I'm probably going to do something after this on just the food combining diet and just go through a little bit each day. And I may do 30 days, 60 days. I don't know if I'll document every day. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but that's where we're at. This week's mobility, hip mobility. Next week's going to be the core, working on core strength, just daily, which is increasing the active time each day from just sitting, and kind of breaking up the monotony of the day and kind of get just movement and blood flow and breathing going throughout the day. So that's what I got this week, guys. This is kickoff for week 11, and it's day 71. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope you have a blessed day.